Coaching Fire. David here, your coach, and today I'm super excited as our topic is going to be about pies. We're not talking about the food pie though, we're talking about our allocation pies and how we set up our portfolios. The reason that we love the pie method so much is that it allows you to not have to decide or think about when you might buy or sell a certain asset that you're holding. The reason is that when you use the pie, you're allowing a percentage of your portfolio to allocate towards that certain asset group. For example, in our pie, we have a 80% stock allocation and a 5% crypto allocation and a 10% real estate allocation and another 5% for bond allocation. So if we put all those together, we get our full pie of 100%. And the reason I love the pie method so much is, like I was telling you guys earlier, it means I never have to decide or use my emotions on when I want to buy or sell that certain stock or allocation. This means that as a asset group grows rapidly, I will sell it back to where it should be, and I'll disperse the funds that I gathered from selling and put it into the other pieces of the pie that maybe didn't grow so fast or maybe even had went negative. And vice versa, as I'm buying into my assets, is that every month as I'm saving my money, I'm going to be picking up pieces of assets that are low in my pie. So if the stocks didn't grow as fast as the bonds did, as it did within this last month, then I will put more money into my stocks and less money into my bonds because the stocks had dropped quite a bit and I had to repurchase the amount that I had lost. So the idea of a pie is that you are never choosing, you're not using your emotions to decide when should I buy, when should I sell, and you're taking out that speculation part of investing and you're really just going by the book of I'm going to buy when it's low and I'm going to sell when it's high, which is exactly what every investor hopes to do. You're not buying and selling high and low based on the actual value of that stock or index or cryptos, but what you are doing is you're buying and selling high and low based on your allocation in your portfolio. I think that is a better method, and I'll show you guys our pie and we'll talk about it a little bit. So as you can see in our pie, we have 6 different classes. We have the stocks, the bonds, the REITs, the cryptos, P2P, and our rental house. With those, you can tell that obviously our stocks are supposed to be our largest, and a close second is our real estate. But not everything's matching up completely right now, and it takes time to sort those out. I could reallocate at any time, but because we recently purchased that rental property, it is a little bit out of whack. So as you can see in our pie, we have a very small percentage being our cryptocurrency. And the reason I want to talk about this is not because I'm a diehard crypto fan. As a matter of fact, I actually really distrusted crypto when I first started investing in it. I had a good friend tell me, hey, you should invest in cryptos, and him and I talked a lot about it. I felt as being an investor, I should expose myself to it. Every good investor would expose themselves to all asset classes. So I gave it a try, and I was buying Bitcoin back in 2019, and it ended up being a really good deal for us. And I took some advice from the book The Simple Path to Wealth, and he discusses a slush fund or kind of money that's not a huge percentage of your portfolio that you could potentially purchase individual stocks that you want to play around with, that you think are going to go up or go down or whatever you want to do with it. I was doing that, but instead of trying to pick out individual stocks, I was like, oh, I'll just take this small percentage, throw it into cryptos, and if it went down a lot, it wouldn't hurt me in the long run. It would just be, it would hurt, but it wouldn't be the end of the world. But then when it took off, I was like, wow, look at this. And then I was selling it back down to where it should have been, because I think in the last year we had to sell it 3 different times because it really, really ran, as you guys probably know if you were watching. So that's a good example of how the pie works. We had one asset class that really just took off compared to the other ones. Even though it was a good year all around, the cryptos, it was just unbelievable. So we were selling it back down and buying other assets with the money that we were producing. And then as crypto shot up again, we again sold it and bought back down. And then cryptos took a big tank dive in about, I think it was the middle of May last year. And we ended up buying back into cryptos because it's the portion of the pie got too small for them. So then we were buying more of them. And then it ran again in the summer and we ended up selling it again. So as you can see, we're buying and selling high and low, but it's not based on the actual price of the asset. It's based on how it compares to your portfolio. And I think that is a much easier and better example because it's really hard to know what's high and low in the market. You don't know when something's going to run. You don't know when something's going to drop. And by the time the information in the news hits the social media or the news outlets that you guys are getting news from, people have already taken that into account and you're racing against the millions, you know. So it's a much better if you play investments at your own pace and run your own race in this kind of game. So that's all we have today for Coaching Fire. Thanks for joining us, guys. I hope I answered all your questions about pies. If you have anything else you want to ask, just put it in the comments down below. Make sure you click subscribe and like. And thank you, guys. Catch you next time on Coaching Fire. Bye-bye. Subscribe, share, and like.